I'd like to welcome you back to another little series, and today you can reference our COVID-19 webpage on the Brooks website. And as you go through that information, you'll see various documents there, and you might see a document from a law firm called Parker Poe, and that particular firm has been our law firm for well over 20 years, and I've been lucky enough to work with a gentleman named Jonathan Crotty there, and he's agreed to join us for a quick interview about what's been going on in our country. And with that, I'll just turn it over to Jonathan and say, can you give us just a quick overview of what you're seeing in the last number of days and weeks?
Sure, Eric. One of the questions that we're getting from a lot of clients right now involves what happens if you have a sick employee come to work, or if you have an employee who says they don't want to come to work because they're afraid they might have been exposed or just afraid that they would be exposed in the workplace. And generally, there aren't a lot of legal guidelines or requirements for that. What we're telling most employers to do is to go to the CDC website and to read the guidelines and the recommendations there with regard to infectious disease control in the workplace. What we're typically telling employers is that if they do have an employee who is sick, says they're sick, of course, tell them do not come into work and don't come back to work until your doctor has cleared you to do so. If you have an employee who says that they might have been exposed to someone with coronavirus and they believe that they should sequester themselves or self-quarantine themselves, I would look at it on kind of a case-by-case basis. How direct was that exposure? And does it make sense to excuse them from work to allow them a period of time to make sure that they have not themselves been infected? We're unfortunately seeing a lot of situations where it's very difficult for the employer to understand whether or not that person has actually has a risk of exposure there, and the employer may need to make some decisions in those situations depending on its ability to run the business going forward. But please look at those CDC guidelines. Make sure that you're practicing social distancing and good cleaning techniques within the workplace. And if you do have an employee that says that they can't come to work or they're afraid of coming to work, call your lawyer and talk with them about it. You may have some flexibility in terms of your response.
Thank you, Jonathan. I know that's helpful information to everyone, and especially in today's time, we always want to err on the safety of our employees and the people around us. So we appreciate that advice, and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.